with Trundle
This
in the
could
jungle.
actually be both, theoretically.
Yeah,
there has been a little bit of Trundle top as well.
If the matchup looks really bad
Yeah.
for Sejuani or so, you just swap Trundle in there. He's a much better duelist in general than Sejuani is.
Absolutely, and it's kind of saying that you're expecting Fudge to play a tank, right? You're dissuading that a little bit. If you're saying, all right, you guys have no engage, you're going to want to draft something, for that top lane along the lines of an Ornn. We'll see if that does in fact get brought out. Instead,
Fiora. No!
Okay.
They draft a tank top. The other side picks a tank buster.
Yeah, Fudge picking up where he left off. He was all about the carries. Last time we saw him in top lane, he again is making a role swap here. 2 splits in a row, swaps to mid. Now he's swapping back towards top. And he was all about, it was kind of like the Lee Sin meta that he was really making a name for himself in top lane when he was in MSI, last year. So this is going to be really interesting. Fiora also super, super popular. I think Fiora is just crazy, actually, on this patch. That is my pretty much perm ban when I'm playing top lane because it's very hard to punish her early. She scales incredibly well, and she's one of the hyper-scaling top laners that actually has a strong early laning phase as well, especially if you want to go in towards Grasp. It can be very difficult, just proccing the vitals, proccing Grasp on you over and over. It is very likely to be Sejuani top, but that seems like such a tough matchup, for Impact.
Oh, Corki, Viktor, we had to do this all in spring. Man, okay, well, we got Corki, Viktor.
Here.
Okay, yeah, all right, fine. You got
plus.
that. There's no chicken in the mid lane, but we do have Corki. We do have Viktor there in mid. That is exactly what you were talking about, though, in terms of scaling. You want to get to 5 items? These are great champions to have at 5 items.
Absolutely. And Viktor, having a wave clear mid laner really makes sense if you want to play through sides, right? If you want to split push heavily on the Fiora, you need your 4-man squad to be able to hold it down, to be able to clear waves, to be able to stop any sort of assault on those towers. There's a tremendous amount of poke on the side of EG. They have pretty good engage here with the Sejuani. You can set up for the poke with the Trundle pillars. I think that's really, really strong with Karma, Ezreal, and Corki to follow that up. And on the other side for C9, it's going to be all about enabling the side lane. Senna ult to be able to help out on that side lane with Fiora is going to be big for the one-on-ones.
Yeah, Fiora being able to dominate in the side lane looks like it's going to be a massive factor for this team, especially when we consider this is not the starting bot lane. Jensen is just now coming back to the LCS. Fudge has a big role to play here for C9, and putting him on the Fiora, putting him on this champion that can be the hyper carry, putting him on something that can make those 1v9s and those fancy outplays and have the perfect timing, that could be exactly what they need. Alrighty, welcome everybody! Let's do it! It's the first game of Summer 2022. Cloud9 up against EG, and as we see EG just posturing pretty aggressively here at level 1, the one thing that I do want to bring up here that I'm a bit concerned for Cloud9, especially considering this is not the intended full roster, the engage options here are so incredibly limited for this squad, especially compared to what you were talking about with Sejuani engages, with having the Trundle pillar to block people off. The response from C9 isn't really there. You got Tahm Kench, you can go underground and try to yeet somebody into the air, man. There's not a whole lot else.
No, there's not. And I mean, I think that's why they're going to have to play heavily through side lanes. But they do have good disengage, and they do have a good, re-engage and kind of counter-engage. If we see, Impact flying in, you Sejuani ult someone, that gets actually, ulted up and saved by Tahm Kench, then all of a sudden, maybe you're getting rooted up there, by King on the Senna, can really start to turn around some of that damage. But their job is going to be to get things done through side, right? They have this ward here on Inspired, starting on that red buff. Fudge is going to be going Conqueror, so much more the scaling option. You do have to pay some respect to the Sejuani, even in those earlier stages, because he is playing Ignite. It can be a surprising amount of burst, especially if Inspired can get up there.
And we know Trundle can do plenty of damage helping out in that, like you're talking about Inspired making his way up here. Sejuani, right, she's not going to have an incredible damage profile throughout the game, but early on in the lane, the CC she's able to bring gives you more exposure time against those Trundle auto attacks. The Ignite's going to hurt, make it so you can't heal even if it's before the point where he has the Bramble Vest to shut down some of the healing. It could be tough up there, but it will be up to Fudge to navigate that situation. Inspired starting off in his bottom side jungle. Blaber's going to be doing the same here on this Viego, also running Conqueror there. Viego's another one of those champions that I see people still having a lot of conversations about. I still see different builds on this champion played in solo queue, so curious what we're going to get out of Blaber this time. Usually in pro play, a lot of times you will get the Bruiser Viego as opposed to some of the more... they don't often go for the more risky but more high reward crit builds that sometimes you'll get in those solo queue environments.
Yeah, and a lot of the, like I've talked to some really high elo like Viego one tricks and stuff like that. A lot of those guys do tend to think that Kraken Slayer is the way to go, but of course solo queue can be different than pro.
Of course.
If you're not going to be power farming as much. Those kind of builds really do need to be able to play aggressive in Snowball. You can go like hyper aggressive where you're going like Kraken Slayer or Bork. You can go very kind of middle of the road like Kraken Slayer in a tank. You can go much more bruisery like what you're talking about with Divine Thunderer into tank. So will be interesting to see where he decides to take this game and exactly how this top lane is going to go, because I think so much of it is going to be about Impact just trying to survive. You can see Impact backing off. He was actually resetting the Vital there. So when the Vital spawns in between you and Fiora, you can... Oh, nicely timed.
That's what we're talking about with outplays on Fiora. The champion gives you the opportunity to read your opponent and make the move. Fudge does it well there. Impact now stuck at half HP as the wave is crashing into the turret.
Blaber's coming up.
Yeah, Blaber's coming up here, but remember, it's not just going to be Impact alone. Inspired was also clearing Krugs. He'll be able to make his way up here now, try to protect his top laner. However, it doesn't look like C9 is going to get too hard punished until Fudge has to flash away, but down here in bottom, it's King, who ends up staying safe thanks to a body block coming out there from Destiny, but Evil Geniuses controls things here on the other side of the map.
Yeah, they do send the Ignite, so they used one summoner, no summoner spent on the other side, but EG really want the push here. They're going to try to play with tempo through bot lane, really punish Destiny every time he's trying to grab a little bit of CS. It is TP on the Ezreal, which is kind of a bit of a throwback, but when you're playing this more scaling style, it's more about having those really good resets, being able to get back right into lane, and really try to kind of lock this Tahm Kench under the tower, punish his bases. Of course, Destiny also going to be responding with a TP of his own to try to help deal with that. You can see up on the top side, both top laners have TP'd back, so we're not going to be able to look for any sort of a cross-map play. You know, Fudge already out to a nice little lead here early on, but he will have to try to continue to push that.
Right, and he does not have that flash now because of the way things got a little dicey up there during that dive. Fortunately for C9, they didn't take turret aggro, so Inspired shows up. It's not like anybody was immediately under threat of death there, just wanted to flash away so they didn't risk anything. Inspired now cleaning up this bottom side Scuttle Crab, so he'll be able to take that one. Junglers just getting back into their second clears here after the first purchases. You can see it is 2 Ruby Crystals there for the Trundle. However, we got the recurve bow for Blaber, so a bit more of an effective buy for him.
Yeah, probably going to be going towards Blade of Rune King. I'm assuming then, with the early attack speed buy.
Roleplay item.
We'll have to see. There you go. You get a bonus. You get a bonus
Exactly.
for that. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to, really kind of continue to keep that pace up in the jungle, try to find some early duels, especially if he wants to play towards side. If you're thinking, hey, we're going to be playing out towards side lane, going to be matching and running into people like the Sejuani and the Trundle, Blade of the Rune King would be really effective for the Viego against those type of champions.
Well, we're 5.5 minutes in. We have no first blood yet, but I don't think there's any reason to be concerned quite at this point. Hopefully we don't hit any of those LCK moments where we're waiting 34, 54, or whatever that horrible number was. But right now, we can see the Dragon being started up by Blaber. Viego can take care of these objectives very easily by himself, especially when your bot lane's pushing up. You know you've got the security there. Destiny takes a little bit of damage as he and King are able to walk over, make sure nobody's collapsing, and there it is. Easy pickup on the Drake for C9 and Blaber. Just 6 minutes into the game, they've got that Ocean Drake, and that feels really nice to have during this laning phase too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a nice little boon for them there. I have to say, King and Destiny doing a good job in the 2v2 thus far. It is, of course, a range support they're going up against. It is Comet, it is Ignite, so Karma going very much his lane-focused style.
Yeah.
And they're not really down that much farm. They are down about 10 now, and there are a couple more minions. So EG did hold that freeze and are kind of expanding that advantage a little bit, but not doing too bad by any means. And Danny already got that kind of ideal buy of Tier Sheen. That's like always what you're going to try to be going for Ezreal.
That's the dream.
If you get that 1,100 gold, get back to base, look to set that up. Blaber, again, back up here towards topside. Remember, it's no flash Sejuani.
No mana to work with either. This is bad news for the Evil Geniuses. The grand challenge finds the mark, and Blaber finds the first blood of Summer Split.
Well played by Blaber. Back up towards top lane again there. A little bit surprised he didn't actually give it to Fudge, though. I do think it's more important to have that gold on the Fiora. Probably could have given that away, given that there is no flash on Impact. No way for him to actually get out once he's locked into that situation, but still nicely done for them there. And it looked like Fudge was even able to kind of freeze the wave. So the wave is going to slow push towards him, I do believe, based off the minimap. So it's going to be even more farm denied from Impact. And Impact's going to come back to a lane that is in an awkward spot for him, that is going to be pushing away for him. And you can see there's a couple extra minions there. So it will push very likely slightly towards him. But no, it's looking pretty even, to be honest.
And honestly, at least when you're playing a champion like Sejuani, you know that, hey, if something goes bad in the lane, you're still going to have the utility and just the power of your team fighting to fall back on. The unfortunate counterpoint to that is, well, now you're up against a champion that you absolutely do not want to be ahead of the curve of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Fiora is also one of the best champions actually punishing roams and punishing, moves towards team fight. So if Impact actually moves towards 5v5, which is going to be what he has to do, you can't just play side lane against Fiora the whole
As
game.
Sejuani, no.
Yeah. But part of the problem is, I mean, Q works on turret for Fiora.
Yep.
The E works on turret for Fiora. You also get that little attack speed steroid, on the E. Plus, it's an auto attack reset. So, like, you crush towers. If you are ever left alone, you will get multiple plates very quickly here.
Speaking of getting crushed, we might have ourselves a bit of violence here on the bottom side of the jungle. Danny and Jojopyun both getting themselves away. Cloud9 giving chase. Blaber just turning right back around there with that Spectral Maw, turns his attention back over to the blue buff.
Smite, though.
C9. Oh, Danny! Nicely timed there to make sure C9 can't steal away the buff.
He still has no smite, so he can also lose this one.
All right, Danny, let's see it.
Come on, Danny.
8-ball, corner pocket. Okay, all right. Blaber blocked it that time. But he knew it was coming. He knew that Danny's not just going to let that go away. Nicely done there. I like the attempt from Danny, but he got the one that's more valuable anyway. The blue buff on Ezreal feels great, so he'll be able to find some use out of that one. Meanwhile, Inspired invading the enemy jungle, looking to steal away some camps there. Destiny eats a true shot barrage, but Thick Skin's going to immune most of that as Danny and Vulcan both move forward yet again, but some fire back from King leaves Danny hurting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tahm Kench is just so tanky. Like, they're constantly poking him, and they're going to farm Spell Thief stacks off him and some of that, but with Tahm Kench's base stats plus the durability buff, he starts D-Shield. You're getting the healing from the Q pass-through from King. Senna will try to, exactly. He'll try to poke through that. Jensen getting Jojo low, but Inspired will cover.
Oh, and Inspired, he drops the pillar, he drops the subjugate, and now he's just dropping clubs on his head. But Jensen gets away. Now Inspired's got to be careful. Blaber's ready to go. Slows him down with a Heartbreaker. Inspired wants out, and he'll get there. Lots of low health bars here in mid lane, but no dead bodies.
Yeah, Inspired was feeling himself there, but he's a very tanky build. I mean, if this was like a Sheen and some longswords, if he was going Divine Thunder, I think he kills him. But didn't quite have the exact read on how much damage he was going to do there. Flashing over the stun from Blaber to try to actually finish off Jensen. But he is the tank build here. Just sitting on that Balmy, Health Crystal, no real damage built up here, so not quite enough to finish off Jensen, and is able to escape. So, not too much gained by either side in the mid lane there, and up towards top side. Impact has been doing a pretty good job, just kind of holding on here. Of course, you're going to be fine in the early stages in this type of matchup. It's really just more of a concern about the later stages when we get to 2-3 items. Your tank stats don't really mean much because Fiora just does so much true damage.
Oh, right. Yeah, when you look at the death recap and over half of the circle is just that white bar. It's just like, come on, dude, get this out of my game. Leave me alone.
So what am I supposed to do here? It's not health.
Yeah,
and it's not armor.
Couple thinking emojis for that one, but looking at the scoreboard overall, just kind of taking inventory of where we're at 11 minutes into the game as the second Drake just now spawns, farm is so close in every single role between these two squads. Like, nobody's pulling out these huge lane advantages thus far. You can see it's still about a 1.2k lead for the side of C9. They did get that 1 kill plus assist money so far. They've also got, only a single plate, so it's not like that's even adding up to a whole lot of it.
Yeah, it's not a massive advantage by any means. And EG going to try to look to take the second dragon here. If Cloud9 were able to get back-to-back dragons, that is a little bit more of a threat.
Right.
If it is just a trade of one apiece, even Soul is so far off here. So not going to be really that much of a concern. So one dragon on both sides. It will be Infernal, which is going to be one that I think really you're going to want to play for on both sides. But in particular for EG, when you're playing these poke-style comps, it is so strong. They do have the Herald. They're dropping this down mid and looking to try to fully crack this mid lane turret. Not going to be able to kill it with the charge, but we'll see if they want to stick around and really try to push it down. Doesn't look like they do.
Yeah, Cloud9 sending some backup here just to reinforce this one. Make sure that EG is not able to strong-arm that turret down. Of course, when you do get the charge and it does not fully execute the turret, you invoke the greatest amount of possible resistances from smashing all those plates. So each individual auto attack's only hitting this thing for 30 damage now, so it would take a while. Cloud9's able to reinforce that pretty effortlessly. But the gold lead, once again, back down to about 600 or 700 now. C9 and EG, both sides playing pretty safely here, exactly as you predicted. predicted, getting into this durability patch, getting into this age of League of Legends where things are more sturdy, nobody's doing YOLO plays early on because there's no reason for it.
Yeah, and it's just harder to pull them off, right? When people are tankier, it's harder for your ganks to work. There's more of a cost if you go and you try to gank someone, it doesn't work out. The enemy jungler is just getting ahead of you on camps. Blaber, kind of first major purchase, it feels like, of this game. He does have the Blade of Ruin King completed. He got the first blood, so getting that early on here going to be really nice for him. We'll see if he wants to try to get a bit more aggressive now that he has this item completed. But Danny just shoving in that bottom lane, and again, Destiny has been able to keep this very, very close. The farm, very close to even here. About one wave in the advantage. Impact could be in a bit of trouble here.
Well, he'll step forward, just using the W. As long as he's got that Arctic charge ready to go, I think he'll be okay. Blaber's not looking to do any crazy dives here thus far. That is the thing. When you have the Fiora and the Viego together, neither one of them exceptionally tanky, and those early game turrets hurt like crazy. Once those things warm up, you're looking at taking 400 damage from a turret shot. The dives are difficult.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot more difficult. Of course, they did get dialed back a bit on 12-11, so not nearly as dangerous as they were on 12-10, but still stronger than they were in the past. So it is going to be risky. And Impact is one of the best, if not the best top laner in the league at kind of neutralizing these lanes, right? This is a guy who has made a career out of playing weak side very, very frequently. He's always able to kind of give up the minimum in these matchups, keeping quite even himself. Of course, on the other side, Fudge now has his Gore Drinker completed. So will be a little bit of a boon for himself there. But for now, it just feels like both teams are content to farm it out, and I think we're going to see them playing heavily towards objectives. So it's going to be a lot about the setup for this next Dragon here. That'll be in about 2.5.
And if we're talking objectives, if we're talking setups, Corki is in the game. Package timers matter a ton for these things. Having to play around a Drake fight or a Baron setup when Corki essentially has just this summoner spell / ultimate tier ability makes things a lot more difficult. That's one thing that I'm going to be looking here, not just for how well can Jojo pilot it, how well can Cloud9 play around it, force bad uses of those packages, and make it so that's not just going to guarantee that EG can take these things when they want them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you're not actually pressuring them to fight constantly, but we're seeing Blaber camping in the brush.
Oh, Jojo taking a lot of damage here, but he gets away with 1/4 of his health remaining. Does not use the flash, has the confidence to know he can still get away, but I like the attempt that C9 made going after him there, as now with the enemy mid laner back, Blaber is going to be going after the Rift Herald. But Fudge gets away top as Inspired looks to make a move.
Yeah, the riposte really well timed there from Fudge. Not much chance of a follow-up after that does happen. And Cloud9 just on Herald here. We'll see if EG want to fight, though, because there's no Senna ult, there's no Viktor ult. They spent both of those on Jojo.
The eyeball's open, so this is going to be taken one way or the other here. Blaber does stick around. He'll pick up the eyeball. I like the fact that EG tried to do something about it when they saw that there was a potential steal opportunity, but there was just too many factors that they did not know. How many people from Cloud9 are around? How risky is this going to be? EG does not want to throw away this 15 minutes of gameplay so far on some sort of a wild Baron toss. So instead, they're just going to let that Rift Herald go. Item completed popping up. As you can see, the Umbral Glaive finished there for Senna. An incredibly powerful item. Low overall price point. Makes it easy for these lower economy champions like a Fasting Senna to buy that, as well as just the passive on it being so strong for vision control.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the vision control is going to be really big in a game like this. Having the proper Dragon setups, being able to control those spaces is such a big deal, especially when you don't have any hard engage. That's something you touched on in draft. You really have got to dominate vision, because walking into Ezreal and Corki and all these champions blind, you're just going to take so much poke that it's really unlikely to work out. So we'll see if they're going to be able to control vision here and where they're going to drop this Herald. Of course, second Herald not as valuable. And no tower is low enough to just straight up execute or anything here for Cloud9, but they might just drop it alongside this Dragon spawn to really just try to start it up. And it seems like EG is kind of fishing around, but I don't think they're actually going to look to contest this. Jojopyun's not actually moving from mid. You can see Inspired just getting ready for the Gromp, so it will be a second Dragon here going the way of Cloud9. EG content to scale.
Alrighty, second Drake for C9, 2 more to go, and then you'll have that soul. But hey, 5 more minutes before that conversation is going to be relevant again. The gold lead, however, it just does not change. 10 minutes straight now. usually I feel like, Isaac, when we're watching these games, if one side has a 600 gold lead, okay, maybe 10 minutes later it'll be 1,600 or something, right? Or maybe it'll shrink back down to 0. It's just not moving.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's just been kind of trading farm, both sides pushing it in, trying to control vision, trying to actually look for these opportunities. But both junglers have done a pretty good job of actually tracking where the enemy jungler is going to be. So there hasn't been a tremendous amount of actual windows to look for these sorts of plays, to look for these aggressive ganks. EG finally will knock down this tower here. First tower of the game, 1740 in. Going to be able to knock that down. Solo gold will go to Jojo. So he's expanded out about a 1K lead just for himself. So a pretty significant advantage there. Most of the gold lead really is on Blaber, who has farmed about 5 additional camps and has the first blood. So going to be some pressure on the Viego to really make things happen, I think, in these fights.
Plus, for the side of EG, I like getting the extra early money on Corki specifically, just because his early build path is a little wonky because you're not as fast to your Mythic as other champions are. Yes, you're able to get the Manamune, but the problem with that thing is it kind of sucks until it turns into Muramana. So you're like, okay, I've got half of a book and kind of this dinky sword I don't really know what to do with. So getting him to the point where he's got some real items and that Corki really starts to hurt, become the poke machine we know he can be, that's important.
Absolutely, and I think EG's plan, my assumption is that the tiers will be fully stacked for this next dragon here, which would be the 3rd dragon for C9. We already see the 2nd item coming in here for Danny. Jojo should have his Ludens complete before that next dragon spawns. So I think that is where we're going to see the first major confrontation of the game, where EG will look to really try to get a bit more aggressive here. And it's going to be on Fudge to either really get a lot on the other side of the map to kind of make up for that, or to play out these teamfights very, very well. I mean, Fiora can teamfight, but you've got to be perfect with your post, because if that is mistimed, you are so squishy.
Oh,
you will
dead.
get burst down. You have got to be perfect with that when you're playing to teamfight on this champion.
You either hit the riposte or you hit the thumbs up emoji after you're dead, because that's all that's going to happen once that gets missed. That ability is critical. And now we've got that Rift Herald, that 2nd Herald of the game summoned up here in the bottom lane. Should be able to grab this tier 1 turret. No issue whatsoever. Evil Genius is coming down trying to get something after the fact, but they're not going to get anything here just yet. Cloud9 looking for the possibility of a re-engage, but not anymore. Jojopyun's bringing the rockets, and now Cloud9 is on the run. Impact ready to find something here, but instead they're going to turn around and find a little bit of damage back onto him. Jensen walking away. The rest of C9 backs to safety. Danny's artillery not going to kill anybody off, but EG respond well enough to take a turret for a turret. Both tier 1s down in the bottom lane now.
Jojopyun is just roasting him on this Corki. So much poke, landing on the stacked up C9 team there. Really getting punished hard. And Fudge deciding to join, but C9 not able to find any sort of a fight. Might have been the better option just to actually commit to the push on the top side, but clearly the call was to fight here. So Fudge does TP in. They don't get anything cross-map. And EG getting a nice little advantage for themselves. Take out their tower. The 2 items complete now on Jojo as well as Danny. You can see FTX total gold. 1,200 ahead of the rest of the field there is Jojopyun. Going to be really, really strong coming into this next dragon fight. So we're going to have to see if EG can get the setup around there. And if Cloud9's even going to look to fight, or if they're just going to try to cross-map it.
And that's what I was talking about with having the gold on this guy specifically. Ludens plus Muramana is an entirely different beast. That's why those rockets did what they did compared to if that was Lost Chapter plus Manamune. It's just not even comparable. So Jojo is the guy to keep your eye on here. If you had to pick one of these 10 players on the Rift to watch, I would say it's him for this next dragon fight.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's really, really hard if C9 are not first to an objective for them to actually engage at all into EG.
Yeah.
Because all you have to do, you don't even have to pillar in the front line. You just pillar out the back line. If Blaber and Fudge go forward, if Destiny goes forward, all Inspired has to do is throw a pillar onto Jensen or King. That's going to slow them down so much that's very difficult for them to close the gap. And then EG can kind of just kite back and hit front line, which makes it really, really hard for Cloud9's comp to kind of function here if they're not creating significant advantages through sides. But it does feel like they want to fight for this dragon. Fudge has grouped up here. They're clearly looking to get ready for it. And Jojopyun is going back to base, does have his teleport available. We'll see if he actually has package here.
All right, both junglers taking a couple of hits back and forth. Fudge and Impact trading a little bit. Jojo has that package, like you're saying, ready to bring it back towards this location, which Cloud9 has already turned into the start of a Drake. They're looking to burn it down, but it's stolen by Inspired. LEC MVP, and in a champ for a reason. Destiny wants to get away, but Jojo's got a delivery to make. Cloud9 continue the retreat as EG can't find the chase just yet. More rockets collide as Blaber and Jensen want to get away. King's ulti fires off. Inspired's going in, but Destiny's getting Blaber right back out. Evil geniuses get no kills, but the beautiful steal from Inspired gets him the play.
That steal was huge. It was full-on retreat for C9 after that, as EG again are just hammering them with this poke. Cloud9, no option but to run, but EG still not able to pick up a kill. So tanky on that back end. Destiny saving multiple members.
Look at this.
Jensen versus the world. Actually, it's both mid laners.
Both of those scoreboards are just one big bar in the middle, flipping the bird to everybody else on the team, having a great time. The mid laners doing the heaviest of lifting here in these mid-game skirmishes. Let's take another look how it went down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about Cloud9 trying to rush this. You can see on the minimap, Jojo was actually heading down, but he was a little bit late, didn't want to actually commit the teleport. So in they go. Q plus Smite there from Inspired, nicely timed from 1,025 health there, actually finishes it off. Now Fudge on the side lane, gonna look for the all-in potentially here. On to Impact.
Impact just hits
Got a little
with
bit
that
excited.
cinnamon roll and says, get on out of here. I am just trying to farm. Impact with that Frostfire Gauntlet, the Bramble Vest, Warden's Mail in the inventory. Is full tank Sejuani.
Yeah, it is.
As it always is.
I got excited because we jumped out that replay. I was like, oh, all in?
Nope.
Nope.
No,
Farm.
This is Sejuani, sir. It's time to hit the minions and leave.
That's true, yes.
Well, we do have Baron live on the table now. We have both teams sitting at 2 Drakes, so still as far from Soul as we could possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Anathema is picked up here by Inspired. I actually really like that, especially when you see the damage breakdown from the last fight.
Yeah,
you already know that's going on Jensen.
Slap that thing on Viktor, and everything else is fine. All right, Isaac, we had 1 kill 15 minutes ago.
We did.
And we got 1 kill now. Where are we going to get more kills at? What's the sauce here?
Next Dragon. We're just looking at objectives. Let's be honest, man.
Okay.
That's what the meta is. It's fighting around these objectives here. And we'll see. You know, I think we would have had a scrappier fight if Jojo actually wanted to TP in, but he thought he could get back with his package in time, so it was a little bit late. And it just ended up being the situation where, you know, Cloud9 did not want to commit. EG doesn't have engage, so all they can do is really kind of just run you down, try to slow you down, and poke you out. But I am getting more worried for Cloud9 because they have not been able to create any sort of a real advantage in the side lane. Like, there is a farm advantage, don't get me wrong, but he's not been pressuring towers. Like, Fudge has not been able to actually pressure towers, has not been able to threaten any sort of solo kills, like has not been able to really create a massive advantage. And I just don't think Cloud9's comp functions super well if you're not playing with a dominant side lane. Like, if multiple people don't have to go to try to answer Fudge, it's going to be tough.
Inspired face checks a brush. The Troll King barely gets away. And it's Jojo grabbing a kill on Blaber instead. Jensen picks one back up onto Inspired, makes it a 1-for-1. Both junglers down.
What even was it that killed him? Was that like corrupting potion burn or something?
I'm not 100% sure. We would have to go back and look at the replay.
That was way delayed, so I don't think it could have been airy. I think it was a corrupting potion burn there, but EG pushing in now.
EG are not done yet. Destiny has the focus on him, but it's Impact who's going to be killed instead. Nicely done from C9 as King barely gets away. Destiny's still very low. Fudge is ready to go. Fiora into the back as Danny goes forward, trying to kill the Destiny. Fudge is able to find the first. Danny's going to be taken down by King, and Fudge is eating good. 6-2, Cloud9.
But TV's in, Cloud9 clean up EG. The carries survive here. Blaber fell early on. Destiny fell as well, but the Soul Laners reigning supreme here. Inspired is back out on the map. He has no flash, though. That flash is still on cooldown. I don't think there's any way he can actually get into the pit here. This is going to be Cloud9's Baron. They win the fight. They get the Baron. We'll see if they can actually get over to the Dragon as well here, because that is in only 25 seconds. And that's going to be the next target on the map.
Well, Baron secured is huge. This is a massive swing of momentum towards Cloud9 in a game that was just so stagnant. C9 make a huge move in this Rocket Flip the Switch replay.
Yep, absolutely. They look for the brush camp here. Let's try to find out exactly what it was that finished Inspired off, because Inspired pops the ulti, gets away, so there's red smite on him. Is it the last thing of the ult? Oh, he stepped back into the ult. He actually lost track of that. He's going to die to the ulti. Plus
It's the same color as the river.
Is the corrupting potion! The corrupting potion kills him off, and then going in on Destiny, EG thought they could kill him way faster, and then they realized, oh crap, Tahm Kench is not dying, kill off the tower, but the tower had already done a lot to actually make that a very even fight. Then Fudge TP's in, flashes straight onto Jojopyun with the ulti popped on him to get the move speed, cleans up Vulcan along the way.
We're not done. We're back to live. Evil Geniuses picked up the 3rd Drake of the game for themselves. 5th Drake overall, so at least they got something back off the back of that play topside that went so far in the favor of C9. Fudge setting up shop here in top lane. This is the split push Fiora we've been wanting to see.
Yeah.
Baron empowered, getting the damage onto the turrets, but he's got to be careful. The rest of the squad isn't applying a ton of pressure in mid. It's easy for EG to send somebody else up top. Fudge, however, backing away, and now re-engaging to find some more damage onto Impact, but C9 now has an opportunity to push up mid. This mid lane tier 1 turret stood for 28 minutes, but no longer. C9 picking up their 4th turret of the game.
Early game was a slow burn, but it's really picking up now. As these teams have their items, they're ready to go. Death cap is almost complete for Jensen. That is going to be a massive spike for him. Jojo's already on 3 items. Danny's on 3 items. EG looking to contest here.
Okay, well, the red buff going to be secured by Danny. Nicely done on that one, making the Ezreal poke more powerful. Impact will try to weather the storm as long as he can against Fudge's Fiora, but with Ravenous Hydra, with Gore Drinker, Fudge is never going to take meaningful damage from Impact alone, so EG needs to send the Goon Squad, and the whole squad shows up. Unfortunately, the shutdown goes over to Vulcan, but at least they got him.
Yeah, it's never a fair fight up in the top lane. The squad comes in, they take him down. I'm really interested to see where Impact is going to go with his build next, because I think, you know, if you're expecting just to be locked in a side lane, you actually go Warmogs from here and then just AFK your tower. As the minion wave comes up, you step up, you use your health to clear out the wave, and you defend the tower. But he is not going for that. He is going in towards MR, so very clearly looking towards the 5v5, thinking about Jensen.
Looking at Jensen,
exactly.
That's 3-0-2 Viktor.
And I mean, this guy has Death Gap, he has the Void Staff, he is massively strong, and he is going to be the true threat in the 5v5. Because Fudge is not going to be targeting the Sejuani. So Impact's read on the game is, I will not spend the game inside, I will group, I will fight, and that is why he's going towards the MR now. You can see some stopwatches being picked up here. Fudge grabbed his, Inspired grabbed his. These items going to start to become very important in these late game fights. You know, EG is on Soul Point, Cloud9 has a pretty significant advantage, but if you do not have the setup for this next dragon, if that soul goes the other way, it is going to be tough because EG already has an incredible amount of poke. You add the Infernal Soul on top, it's going to get really difficult to deal with.
I really like the Kimtech Putrefier picked up by Vulcan here because all 3 of the items of Fudge are lifesteal / regeneration type of items. That's really hard to deal with without some Grievous Wounds. Of course, we know in the durability patch, Grievous Wounds has been toned down compared to what it previously was. But when you're dealing with the front line of the enemy team, with the Fiora, with the Viego, having so much sustain, having that heal cut, I think, is just critical, especially when Senna's right behind.
Yeah, Senna healing. There's also Redemption on TK, so there are a lot of sources of healing. And Karma is also one of the actual best users of this item because you can AoE apply it.
Yep.
With the ulti shield, the Mantra shield there, it is really, really effective. Cloud9, they're the ones with push through mid though, and they're the ones kind of dominating Vision so far. They're trying to move up into this area, clear out Vision. You can see EG's got nothing in this whole section of the map. They've got a couple deep wards down in this little bottom area, but that's about it. So it is very, very difficult right now for them to check in. We're going to have to see when they can actually reset, group up, and try to push in and get some vision. This is one of the weak parts of playing an Enchanter support and something that a lot of pros will tell you as a reason that they don't love playing things like the Karma is you cannot face check. You cannot walk in here. You can try to clear brushes with your Q, but really you need Inspired or Impact to be there with you to try to be that person in front of you, walking forward, clearing out vision, because EG really, you have to expect, want to play for this soul.
I mean, the one big fight that happened in this game started with Inspired face-checking a brush, and we saw how he barely got away. Karma dies in the snap of your finger. Her death recap is going to be 0.something seconds, and I'm thinking the point-something's a 5 or less.
Yeah.
So it's very understandable why Vulcan can't do that. But again, it's Fudge. It's this 3 completed massive items Fiora split pushing in the top lane, and it's only going to get worse.
Oh, package is done. Jojo's heading out towards top, but of course it plays the global sound. So Fudge going to respect that. He's just running straight back all the way. He's not messing around with that. He knows if he gets picked now before that soul fight, that could be game-changing, but still, Jojo out here with package. You've got to respect it. There is no vision, though, for EG in the area, so they still have got to have someone face check. They're going to try to walk in with the poke here, clear this out, but Jensen
gets himself to safety thanks to Destiny's ulti, but Tahm Kench ult being down, that's going to be big. Fudge teleporting into the fight, ready to go. EG with control over the top side of the river. Cloud9 falling back towards the enemy blue buff. Fudge steals away the blue. Dragon is started up. Evil Geniuses have the aggro on the Drake right now. They're going to look to turn towards this immediately. Jojo zoning them all away. Uses package backwards towards the Drake. Impact zoning out Fudge. Drake's going to be taken low. It's stolen away by King, but he immediately dies thereafter. Destiny falls next to him as Impact's going to be traded away on the other side. Blaber beat to death with the Trundle Club as Fudge tries to get away, but Danny is here to party, and the Evil Geniuses are in trouble.
Wait!
Fudge wants to turn it around, and Fudge is finding his marks.
Jojo was TPing up because he thought it was a done deal, and Fudge just turns the game on its head. They were looking for a potential end angle there. Jojo's like, all right, he's dead. It's a 4v1. I'm TPing mid. I'm going to start pushing. We go Baron, or we go to try to at least get an inhib or something. And Fudge just crushes the back end of this fight. The beginning looking really good as Cloud9 are kind of getting pushed down into this area where they're grouped up. They're getting poked out here. And you can see the ulti from Danny coming across. Jensen is going to get pillared in here. Let's watch this final little hit here. Smite, I didn't even see it. That went straight from 1430 to dead. So I think that was like an auto or a Q pass through or something from King. But either way, the chase down begins from EG. They are focused on the fight. The flash pillar onto Jensen was really nice. Now let's watch Fudge. He is so low. It's understandable you think he's dead, but he has Gore Drinker available. Flash into the middle of 4. Gore Drinker heals him for 1k. Procs all the vitals there. Takes down Danny. And look at this. He was TPing. He thought he was dead. He thought it was a done deal. Understandably, Fudge is at what, 5% health in a stopwatch. Gore Drinker heals him for over 1k. So whether it was a mispress there from Jojo or what I think it was just he thought that his teammates had him.
4,458 damage in the team fight.
That's more than 52.
Fiora. That's significantly larger than 52. That is correct. That is why you are the analyst, sir. Impact, unfortunately, getting about
top gap
2 ticks of a Frostfire Gauntlet on somebody somewhere.
No, that's actually Sejuani's full combo. 52.
Oh, Sejuani. Anyway, we've got ourselves 3 Drakes to 3. We have to get a Dragon Soul in the next one.
We do.
It must be the Soul. But
maybe you should be the analyst. That's a good point.
Yeah, I know. I got you here. You know, 3 plus 3. One of them's eventually got to be a 4. But now we've got Evil Geniuses with control over the map. Cloud9 looking to get that Fiora back in the side lane. Again, that's the win condition. We've already talked about how hard it is for them to try to engage on EG.
No TP on Fudge.
EG starting up the Baron. But now backing away, seeing that Cloud9 is ready to respond to this. Fudge back up in the top lane. Inspired moving forward, but he's got to be careful. King does a lot of damage. Jojo firing off some rockets here. Blaber taking those in the back as they all continue to disengage here, getting healed up by the Redemption.
Huge.
Fudge coming in from the side. Jojo, wow-wee, look at the poke on that one, as Evil Genius is now going to get jumped on. Impact and Vulcan backing away. Fudge trying to charge into the melee here as a lot of damage comes down, looking for the riposte. Fudge loses Guardian Angel. Can they protect him as he comes back alive?
Destiny's got all
more poke coming out. Destiny saves him there with a Devour, but now Fudge is very low. He's got no Guardian Angel. Blaber also at death's door. Evil Genius is heading back over to the Baron pit, but they're setting a trap instead. True Shot Barrage right through the goalpost, not going to get much. Evil Genius is still with control. TP coming right back in. They're bringing back Impact. He's ready to tank. And what can C9 do about it?
I mean, Blaber's got to heal up. He just uses Smite over there on Wolves to try to get a little bit of health, but now he doesn't have Smite for the Baron. He was down to about 5% health. King has been sustaining them up as much as he possibly can, but AG can try to finish.
King loses 2/3 HP to a Jojo rocket. Baron's going to be secured by Inspired as Jojo goes over the wall back to the safety of his team, flashing away from Fudge. Destiny dies, and Fudge is now in a bad spot. Destiny will continue to try to save these guys, but when he's dead, what's the other way out? What's the way for them to survive? There's none, and C9 retreats having lost their support.
Yeah, C9 has so much sustain with this Senna, but every single time King is getting tagged by a bit of poke there from Jojo, it is deadly. The Senna is so squishy at this point in the game. Yeah, one rocket, one big one. It's like 80% of his health. It's not looking that durable.
No,
so.
it's not the what is it? The Senna gameplay fantasy is not losing 80% HP to a rocket and wanting to go home.
The Senna gameplay fantasy is having so many soul stacks so you don't have to be on the same screen as your opponent.
Yeah, you just shoot the Nexus at your Nexus. Now we've got Evil Geniuses 20 seconds before the Soul Drake spawns. For either side, they're the ones with Baron. They're the ones with control. They're the ones that Cloud9 are going to have to find an angle. But it's Impact leading the charge here. With that Sejuani, he's ready to go. Remember, Fudge has no Guardian Angel this time. So again, the Fiora timing, the riposte must be perfect. Dragon ready to spawn now. There is a blue trinket in the pit from the side of C9, but it's EG with total control over the river.
Again.
Package from Jojo. This is what we're talking about. He's always ready to go with these. Just firing off those rockets. Try to wear Cloud9 down. Use the Ezreal. Use that Corki. True Shot Barrage hits, but it doesn't do a whole lot just yet. Impact gonna take a couple of hits there at the front. Inspired starting up the Drake. Impact at about 3/4. Inspired the same. Rocket finds King. Big one finds King. King at about 10% HP. Evil Genius is playing it slow, playing it safe. They're trying not to flip this if they can help it. Jojo's gonna eat the tongue there from Destiny, but now EG backing off yet again. C9 trying to move forward. Fudge looking to come in from the side, now stealing away the blue, but I don't think that's gonna be the move. Blaber's there in the stasis. The Dragon's gonna go over to the side of EG, but Fudge goes into the back line and he finds the kill on Jojo. Fudge staying alive. EG in retreat. Destiny's taken low, and True Shot Barrage finds the kill on the King. Quick Fudge and King both out of it. They're still ready to fire back on the side of EG. Danny's locked and loaded, and Destiny's here right in his firing line. The crosshairs find the mark, and Danny's on a killing spree. Jensen retreats over the wall with a blast cone, and Cloud9 are behind enemy lines. EG just keeping him there, just wasting the time. Blaber jumps out, finds a little bit of a trade onto Inspired.
They want to fight.
He and Vulcan are not really set to win this 2v2, but they're trying to just waste some time, if nothing else. Inspired hobbling away from this one. Trundle is fast.
Impact's
with a
coming.
TP coming in, he's going to have a little bit of backup. Danny also here. Impact just trying to keep these guys still. Jensen eats a lot of damage, but he ain't going to be killed just yet. Danny will swoop in. However, Impact hits that Blaber and he still dies. Evil Geniuses finally get them all.
Damn, that was like a 5-minute fight go off. Jensen was going crazy with the fancy feet there at the end. But at the end of the day, it is EG walking away with the Infernal Soul here. Such a scrappy fight. I have got to say, Fudge is really impressing me on the Fiora with what he is getting done. Look at that damage on King. He's just getting pushed out. But it is Fudge eventually, he realizes, we don't win this. I've got to find an angle. So he goes around, he actually heals up off the Gromp, and then he's looking for this angle into the backline. At the same time, they're going to move forward onto Jojopyun. Jojopyun will be pushed back right into the waiting arms of Fudge. Fudge into the backline there, finishes off Jojo, gets the riposte done onto Danny. If Danny did not have, I think that was a Mikhail's from Vulcan. If that was not there, Danny could have died as well, and that would have been potentially a game-winning play. Excuse me, that was actually a QSS from Danny, not the Mikhail's. But still, like, that was really well played by Fudge and almost got enough done to kill both the carries, which could have been game-changing.
But despite Fudge's performance in that fight, the soul goes the way of Evil Geniuses, and the graph that you can see on your screen right now says this is the first time this game that the gold advantage has found itself in favor of EG. Now, the counterpoint to that is we have teams that have a collective gold value of about 70K each, so those small advantages aren't meaning a whole lot at this point in time. Lots of players getting close to full build. You can see Jojo, richest man on the Rift, currently sitting at that nice, juicy 6 items. These rockets are really what is making these fights work out, as he's able to poke down King specifically. The Senna not being in any sort of shape to participate beyond just an ulti is doing a lot for them in the fights. But Fudge, man, this is the guy for C9 keeping this game going. I'm not just going to act like it's a one-man show, though, when we're looking at Jensen here, 6-2-3 on the Viktor, having an awesome first game back.
Yeah, and you look at his performance in these team fights, he has been so good at actually sidestepping the skill shots. That is classic Jensen. Like, I think he has some of the best movement of anyone we've had in this league for many, many years. He is really good at these little tiny sidesteps to dodge out on skill shots. And let's be honest, King has not done a great job at actually avoiding a lot of this poke, right? He has got to position himself with Destiny in between him, and Jojo because he is taking so many rockets. I know he wants to get a little bit of damage out himself, but it's just not a winning trade on his end. Until he potentially gets even more souls. I mean, he's at 146.
That's
so
a
pretty ridiculous amount. I mean, we're 42 minutes in, right? So he is going to have a lot. You do get free AD from each one of those souls. So Senna is definitely scaling, but Corki hits you with one big one. Like, none of that matters. And that is why you've got to play really, really carefully here as King.
Senna might be scaling. Corki already scaled 5 minutes ago. Corki was full build. This is not the kind of Corki that you can fiddle around with and tank some damage from. King
King's gonna rush this.
Getting hit by that true shot barrage means one big one kills him.
Blaber has no flash, but he could ult into the pit. Is he gonna go for it? Nope.
Nope, Blaber backing away. Realizes that at this point in time it could be rough. Fudge pushing the bottom lane up here, poised to take the tier 3 turret, but Impact will hold on long enough to make it so EG does not have to trade an objective here. They will get the Baron. They've got it again, but what can they do with it? Yeah,
we'll have to see what they can get done here on the push. It's going to make the job a lot harder for Fudge. Fudge is honestly just struggling with mana. Like, he is constantly going, Guy kind of needs some blue buffs or something. Like, he's not going, Essence Reaver, he's not going the tier kind of scaling build. So in these long drawn out fights where Impact is just so difficult for him to actually push down, he's just straight up running out of mana in these 1v1s. He is full build now, completing it, has the GA, that is back off cooldown, grabs the Spear of Visage here. So they're gonna be able to shrug off all the damage there from Impact, but the question is, can he get enough done to really push him out?
Well, man, this turret is just evaporating here in front of the inhibitor for Cloud9 in mid lane. That tier 3 is gone. That's the first tier 3 taken in the game, 43 minutes in, Isaac.
Yeah, and 6 items now for Jensen. He's got the Lich Bane. So with Lich Bane, there is the possibility of, if you can hit the combo, flashing on one of these carries and just one-tapping them. It does so much damage. With that Q auto, with the Lich Bane, if you can hit your ER, Q auto on a carry, they can die. But Jensen is squishy himself, so he's got to really watch out because he has most of their wave clear. He has most of their team fight damage. 2 rockets just hit him in a row there.
Oh, Jensen's gone! The rocket from downtown. Jojo backing up the trash talk on Twitter, and he might have just won the game with it.
I think he has, man. They're pushing in here. What can you do without the Viktor? It's going to have to be a hero play from Fudge for them to have any chance at all.
All right, let's see it. EG still strong as 5. Fudge going forward. Grand challenge down onto the jungler, but now having to back away. Goes for the riposte. Saved by Destiny. King down to 1%. Blaber going to be isolated. Going to be blown up. He'll come back here with the Guardian Angel, but what hope does he have? Nexus turrets are collapsing. Fudge into the GA proc now. Blaber bouncing back and forth, trying to stay alive as Destiny's the first to die. Fudge and Blaber right back into the fountain. King dies to the bullet in the air as Cloud9's stance ends here. They have fought valiantly, but evil continues its reign. The stats are going to be padded, and Evil Geniuses, it took 45 minutes. Impressive performances out of different players on C9, but it was not enough. Jojo's rocket finds Cloud9's heart.
Oh man, the Corki was huge for EG. Incredible game from Jojopyun. Cloud9 really getting punished for being so low on engage. It allowed these EG carries to play so confidently, so far forward in a lot of these fights. And those rockets were punishing Cloud9.
It's one of those things where we talked about how good of a game Jensen was having, how critical this Viktor has been. But unfortunately, the reality of a game like League of Legends is that when